Hello, this is Victor. I'm here with a new Hammer video, and this time I'm going to compare the troops from the Necron's Codex. And these are the units that we are going to review: 10 Necron warriors, of course with the Gauss flares, and 5 Immortal with Gauss blasters and 5 Immortal with Tesla Carabines. Uh, Although you see here that the cost in points is different, all the units are normalized to 100 points, so you will see that the score is completely comparable. Uh, and as usual, I will compare them to other units from other codexes. So you can see here that the three bottom rows in that point are the three units I'm going to review from uh, the Necron Codex, and then I will compare to other units, and I will do first on the shooting and then so on. First, the first topic I will compare is the shooting against light infantry here. And we can see, first of all, if we look here the scoring, we see that the Gauss weapons are better than Tesla at short range, and at medium range, Tesla is better than the Gauss weapons. Even though I take into account that on sixes you do more hits, this does not compensate the ability to do rapid fire at short range. If we compare to units from other codexes, we see that the Mandrakes are still very strong compared to them. Cavalry warriors are also very strong, and cultists with the flamers are quite strong, and also the purgation squad are the same, strong as them at short range and stronger in medium range. But although they are better than other units from other codexes, like a Strike Squad from the Grey Knights or units from the Chaos Space Marines Codex. If we see now the ability to shoot at heavy infantry, here we normally take into account Marines, Terminators, and bikes. We see that the Necrons are more or less are not bad, but they are, and again Gauss is better at short range, and Tesla is slightly better at medium range. But we see units from other codexes like the Cavalry Warriors, where they are slightly stronger, and also the Purgation Squad with 40 cannons. The Case Mandrakes, we see that they are more or less at the same level of the Necron and the Immortals. So we can see here that yeah, they are not bad scoring, but they are not the best when shooting against heavy infantry. When we look at the shooting against monsters, again the same pattern. So we see here the Tesla is very similar to the Necron warriors and Immortals. So Tesla is very similar to the Gauss weapons at short range, slightly better than Immortals with the Gauss blaster. In the medium range, the Tesla is better. So we see the same pattern always. So Gauss being slightly better at short range and Tesla better at medium range. If we look to units from other codexes, they are more or less in the average. And we see that the Cavalry Warriors, especially the Dark Elder with all the poison weapons, are better than them. Also, Purgation units specialized in shooting are better than them. But if we compare to units like Chaos Space Marines, they are more or less in the same level. If we compare, for example, to Chaos Space Marines with the Norgal Mark, are more or less in the same level. Or even if we compare to Strike Squad, they are more or less in the same score. So what we also can see is that Necrons are much more efficient at short range normally, so if they have Tesla than I yeah, with Gauss are much efficient at short range than with Tesla. When shooting to flying monsters creatures, the score is pretty bad compared to other units, and it's because they need to hit on sixes and they need to wound on sixes. When other units have weapons with higher strength, so the Chaos Space Marines, for example, have the plasma that is making them a little bit more reliable when shooting to flying monsters creatures. Again, Cavalry Warriors the strongest thanks to the poison weapons. And now we go to shooting against light vehicles, and here I think shooting vehicles is where the Necrons are stronger, especially if they have Gauss blaster or Gauss weapons on the Necron warriors. So we see that the score is quite good at short range, and it's not it's decreasing a little bit when we go to medium range. If we compare them to, of course, here on the Tesla Carabinne is a mistake. It should be 0.7 in both cells. If we compare them to other units, at short range they are much better than most of the units. And this time we see that the Cavalry Warriors, they don't have any strength against vehicles. So, as we were expecting. Against, if we look at shooting against heavy vehicles, we see that the Necrons are the strongest in that case, shooting against heavy vehicles, and this is thanks to the ability of the Gauss weapons. So shooting against heavy vehicles, Necrons have not are the best unit, especially at short range, and they are comparable to units that have like the Purgation Squad. And of course, here the Gauss weapons are much stronger than the Tesla, thanks to the ability of the Gauss weapons. So here we see the scoring is completely different from other units. And then if we see shooting against flyers, flying vehicles, so they need sixes and they are quite similar to units that can have some weapons with higher strength that makes them they give them some ability to shoot the flyers. Again, Purgation Squad is the best thanks to the big the amount of shooting they can deliver. But Necron Guardians and Immortals are not bad if they need to shoot flying vehicles, at least to scratch one hull point. So if we look the shooting in total, we see that Necrons are on the average, but on the top average. So first we see that the Gauss weapons are better, have better scoring than the Tesla Carabines. I think no, the best option for the Immortals is the Gauss Blaster. They are, especially at short range, they are better in all against any type of unit, and only medium range and Teslas are going to be strongest against infantry. So this also brings to the other thing that most likely no Immortals will need a delivery system if they want to shoot, uh, if they want to be efficient in shooting. So if we compare now the Necrons to other units, we see that they have very similar scores to the Mandrakes, and they have better scores than the Chaos Space Marines or the Strike Squads or even the Terminators. Only been having better score the Purgation Squad of the Grey Knights or the Cavalry Warriors, thanks that they have very good shooting against monstrous creatures and infantry with the poison weapons. So we see that they are not bad in shooting, they are not the best, but I think they're still quite stronger, and I think Gauss is the best option, is the option to go now. If we look at the resistance, and I think here is where the Necrons have to be strong, we see especially against common weapons or basic weapons, Necrons are very resilient. Yeah, we see here in green, these are Mandrakes in cover, so Mandrakes in cover are going to be always very, very strong thanks to this roaded special rule and sorry, and the stealth. But Necrons have better score than Chaos Space Marines and have better score than strike squads and also the purgation. So purgation, for example, was very good in shooting, but they are very low in resilience, compensating the ability in shooting. So we see the Necrons again are in the average table, and they are only so the only units that are better than them are units that are very cheap, and you can have a lot of miniatures per unit. And especially when we look at special weapons or anti-infantry weapons or anti-tank. For example, the plague zombies are very strong because they are so cheap that all these weapons lose efficiency against them because killing one of them makes no difference. Also, thanks to the film of pain, zombies are in the same level. So Necrons, they are very resilient, but they are not as for when we compare them to elite units or units that are even cheaper than them. For example, they are more resistant than Cavalry Warriors or the same level. But if we compare to extremely cheap units like Plague Zombies or Curtis, this is the strength of these type of units. If we look back, we see that in shooting, these units are not doing almost anything better than. So they are very weak in all the other topics. They are only good in resisting shooting and things that they have a lot of numbers. But if we compare to Space Marines, we see that there is almost a factor. They are 50% more resilient than the Space Marines, or much more resilient than Great Knights. Even if we compare them to Terminators, they are more resistant for the points that you pay for them. If we compare in melee, so in close combat, of course, if we compare to Terminators that are specialized in close combat, they are much worse. But we see that they are not in a bad position, so they are at the same level. Well, only the Grey Knights are better than them, and then they are the next one. So be careful with them. They are not bad in close combat. Only Mandrakes can be in the same level than them, and then we see that the two units of Grey Knights, the Strike Squad and the Terminators Squad, are better than them. So, but be careful. So, Necrons are not that bad in close combat, and it's mainly thanks to the resistance they have. They can resist a lot of damage before start losing numbers, thanks to the reanimation protocols, and normally they have good armor. And then assaulting vehicles, well, I will never assault vehicles with Necrons. So make no sense, especially when they have the Gauss weapons that are the way to go to destroy the vehicles. So I will say I will never assault vehicles with Necron, Warriors, or Immortals. They are all units specialized in assaulting vehicles from the Necron side. So as a conclusion, Gauss weapons for me look more flexible and stronger than Tesla at this moment, especially on the Immortals. Necron Warriors and Immortals with Gauss are very similar in shooting. I think if we look the numbers, they are very similar in all the aspects. So I will not say one unit is better than the other. If we see Immortals normally resist better basic weapons, but Necrons are better against heavy and special weapons, thanks to they can have higher in numbers. And then in close combat, they are not bad. So be careful and don't be too much confident. If you assault Immortals or Necron Warriors in close combat, it's not going to be easy to defeat them unless you have a super specialized unit in close combat weapon. So that's all what I want to share and talk about you about the troops from the Necron Codex. I hope you find this interesting. So thanks a lot for watching this video and see you again later. Bye.